You know when you try something new, and maybe it's something you've been purposefully avoiding for a long time, but you try it anyways, like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, you know, and you end up really liking it. That's what's happened with me with this this knife here. This is the CJRB Gobi. First of all, I don't know what CJRB stands for. If you know, let me know. I tried to find it. I couldn't find any information on that. I know CJRB is a line of artisan cutlery. I think it's supposed to be kind of like their more affordable line, but that does not mean this is not a quality knife by any means. I've been very impressed with the craftsmanship and fit and finish on this knife, especially for the price point, which we'll get into later. So this knife, it has a blade length of 3.5 inches, overall length of 8.25 inches, and an overall closed length of about 4 3/4 inches. The blade steel is D2, and the pivot has ceramic ball bearings, which is really great, makes this knife really smooth and easy to deploy. Overall weight is about 3.7 ounces or 105 grams. It is a liner lock, not my favorite locking mechanism, but it's so common in knives these days it's really hard to avoid, so I just suck it up. The liner lock, though, I will say, they did bevel the edge of the liner where you'll depress it with your thumb. And I think that's a really great touch, so you're not going to be cutting your thumb up on like a hard 90-degree angle. Overall, I think this knife has a really, really cool silhouette, and that's kind of like what drew me to the knife initially was the shape and lines of the knife. It has this really cool silhouette to it, kind of like an S shape, I guess you could say, but just really great flowing lines. The forward portion of the handle where it kind of sweeps down, that combined with the flipper of the blade when deployed forms a really good finger guard, so you don't have to worry about your hand slipping up on this knife while you're using it. It's very secure. That's one of the things I like about it as well, is when you open the knife, the handle shape combined with the flipper forms a really generous finger guard. But overall, the shape of the handle fits really good in your hand. I think they nailed the ergonomics on this one, as well as the overall silhouette and how the knife looks. One thing I do want to mention is I love the color scheme on this. You can get this in different colors. You can get it in like an OD green, you can get it in black, and I think it's also available in like a blue. But I went with the sometimes you see it called Jade, sometimes you see it called Natural G10. The handle scales are made of G10, and I guess what Natural G10 means is I'm assuming they're not applying some kind of pigment to the handle scales when they're being made. This is just what the G10 looks like naturally. That's an assumption. I didn't really look too much into it. But I think it looks really cool. I'm starting to see more knives with these handle scales on them, and I'm a fan. I think it look really, really cool. They're like semi-translucent, just a little bit, kind of this pale green color. There's something ghostly about the look of these handle scales you could say I'm a fan of. But overall, that in combination with the orange accenting in the pivot as well as the back spacer, I think just gives it a really, really cool, unique look to the knife. I'm a fan of those colors. Yeah, I think it's a really good looking knife. Now to the important bit, right? How does it feel to deploy? It's super smooth. And it was super smooth right out of the box too. I mean, it's definitely, since I've been flipping it, it's definitely worked itself in and it's smoothened up even more. But I've had some knives that, like, you know, right out of the gate, they're real stiff and you got to flip them a lot to kind of work them in and get them loosened up and stuff. Not this one. This one was right out of the box, just silky smooth. So now onto the cut test, because that's what you do when you review a knife. You cut up a piece of paper. Also, my camera did not want to focus during this, and I didn't notice it until I got back to editing here, and I didn't really feel like going back to reshoot it. So just bear with me on the out of focus cutting here. But as you can see, the blade cuts very smoothly through the paper. The one bit where I kind of tear it here, that's totally on me. Also, if you've not seen someone mess up on camera and then get really awkward, well, now you have. So enjoy that. But yeah, the knife comes pretty sharp, so if you bought it to cut things, you're in luck, champ. This will do it. Alright, last thing I want to kind of mention about this is it's under $40. I've been saving that to the end because I kind of think it's the best thing about this knife. Is it has a lot of quality components. It has a very good fit and finish, very good build. It's very sturdy. The lockup is very strong. There's no play in the blade at all. The centering is, I would say, the centering itself is good. If you look at the blade, the grind seems to be a little bit uneven, but the centering is fine. And the blade definitely has a good bit of gap between the spacer and itself when it's closed, so it's not going to contact the spacer in any way, so I'm not worried about the knife damaging itself. I think it's built very well. The deployment's very smooth. You get the ceramic ball bearings in the pivot. It's very sharp, D2 steel. I mean, there's a lot to love about this knife, and it's under $40, so I think it's a steal, frankly. This is an absolute bargain. It's not often where I'm like, I'm not sponsored, okay? I'm a small channel, so I don't get any kind of kickback by saying, like, you know, go buy this knife. But I really like it. You know, I gotta say, if you're in the market for a larger folding knife right now, and you're looking to spend under $40, this is a contender. This is a good. I would really consider this one for sure. And I'm impressed by this so much. I'm gonna be taking a look at some other offerings by CJRB as well, because if they're anything like this, I think I'm gonna like them a lot. But yeah, that's what I got for you today, guys. This really cool folding knife I got. Something new for me, a little bit larger than what I normally carry. I like it a lot. I'm really impressed with it. I think it's built very well. It's very sharp. It's got quality steel, quality components. It looks really cool. Did I mention that? I'm a fan of the way this thing looks. Alright guys, if you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for sticking with me. As always, if you have any recommendations on gear you want to see me take a look at, just drop it down in the comments below. And I hope you have a good day.